Indirect indicators of economic health. Electricity output is increasing in Russia, and consumption is growing as well. That is, companies are saying, give us current for new equipment. Machines, computers, premises. How they are developing, we will tell you now. Here's the first story. Remember the shots from Soviet movies about harvesting? When people who are satisfied with their lives ride in the back of a truck, right on top of potatoes, cabbage, or, for example, watermelons. I think this approach is still perfectly viable today, but only for warm regions. However, Russia has many remote, cold regions where work is essential. This plant in the Chelyabinsk region is ready to offer hundreds of solutions for these challenges. In September 2024, we celebrated our 30th anniversary. During this time, the GERD Special Machinery Plant has produced 20,000 units of equipment. We are constantly developing. Every year we develop. Our main profile is the production of special equipment for the oil and gas industry, for the energy sector. This is full-cycle manufacturing. Think of it as a heavy-duty tuning studio. Designers innovate on truck platforms and the factory. Floor builds a solution for any customer specification. So since every machine is unique, that means every single one is a challenge. Yes, look, that was our strategy from the start. We aren't about mass production. So, in terms of annual figures, we produced 808 units last year. Taking into account that this is not serial production, but it is quite a serious volume. Taking into account that foreign competitors have rolled away from the market, the demand is only growing. For example, the special equipment of this plant builds the Power of Siberia 2 gas pipeline. And here is a machine to service bridges and high-voltage lines. If you remember the movie Night Watch, there was a ZIL truck driving around in it, the one with the aerial lift designed for servicing high-voltage power lines. So now there is no such factory that produces such equipment. And here is one of the brightest examples of how our designers work. We identified a demand in the energy sector. The company voiced it clearly. We need these kinds of vehicles. And after probably 7 to 8 months, we produced such a vehicle. According to the company's calculations, the market demand is at least 700 such machines. Another example, equipment that works at airports. The boarding stairs have already been manufactured. We take a certain pride in this. 2 boarding stairs manufactured right here, at this plant, service the presidential plane. And these aren't just stairs mounted on a truck. Our own specialists designed the chassis, machine vision that sees how to approach correctly, so as not to damage the expensive airplane. In just 4 months, an import substituting ambulift was created, from scratch to assist passengers with disabilities in boarding. Is this equipment already in use? Yes. Overall, our ground support equipment is in operation at 47 airports domestically and in the CIS. This specific vehicle, which we received an order for, is headed to Sheremetyevo. It's an order for 2 units. By betting on Russian components, the company isn't just fueling its own growth. Many related companies are involved. As for this vehicle specifically, there are 52 companies supplying us with the necessary components. There it is, a huge multiplier. And all of this flows back to the state in the form of tax revenue. And what happens next? Obviously, new specialty equipment. Looking at our 3-year trajectory, we plan to produce an electric-powered boarding ramp. An electric shuttle, so to speak. We already see that major airports are building EV charging infrastructure, so this will definitely be in demand. Our engineers already have the technical solutions ready for implementation. Secondly, for loading large cargo, we are developing a heavy-duty transfer loader. Expansion is in the plans as well. A new engineering building will be opened this year. Well, about people, then a clarifying question. A good engineer is definitely worth their weight in gold. Absolutely, yes. Is there a shortage of personnel? How do you solve these issues? There is a shortage of personnel, and it is, well, practically impossible to lure them with money. That is why there is a complex program of motivation, both material and moral. And the main thing is, we provide an opportunity for every employee at the factory to pursue self-development and self-realization. So the story is not even about money. Here we were offered the chance to build a racing truck. My eyes lit up like crazy. At the same time, the pay was strictly lit up like headlights like that? Yes, yes. Well, it was purely an extracurricular project, and now the monster truck is winning medals. In general, solving the complex issue of labor shortages is a joint task for the state and business. So that specialist training isn't done for nothing, but is aligned closer to real manufacturing. In particular, more than 80,000 people study at universities in the Chelyabinsk region. For example, just last year, we opened 2 new departments. At our main university, South Ural State University. First is the Faculty of Robotics and Mechatronics, which directly addresses the task of developing industrial robotics in the region. The second is the Faculty of New Materials. Then there is targeted training, a very important direction. Today, we already have about 4,000 people studying at our universities under this model. Regarding vocational education, the flagship project is certainly professionality. We have established 17 of these centers in the region, more than anywhere else in the country. Consequently, we are keeping this work going. Our next hero is also on the hunt for specialists. It's a company from Nizhny Novgorod, without whose products the power systems of cars or, say, diesel locomotives simply wouldn't work. This is what a car's nervous system looks like. For example, the one in the Oris, the vehicle used by the Russian president, a wiring harness. This enterprise in the Nizhny Novgorod region has mastered the production of tens of thousands of different types of these products. And there are quite a few nuances in the production process, which we'll tell you about right now. The plant turns 20 this year. The business started out simply supplying auto components, but its true calling turned out to be something else. Manufacturing wiring harnesses, some of which contain 5 to 6 kilometers of wire. Yes, this is a very complex technical product. A single product can include, like in this example, over 5,000 different components. The combinatorics involved are immense. Our company works with dozens of different customers. Every client has hundreds of SKUs. For example, in a car, there are about 30 harnesses that connect different systems. Lighting, braking, climate control, engine management. Well, this product in particular, is it for the Oris or not? Yes, this is the most sophisticated product in the Russian Federation for a car. It is a product for a premium car. So it is a challenge for the automobile industry. Over 200 Russian enterprises work to create this premium vehicle, producing everything from the engine and transmission to the body, interior trim, and electronics. By the way, this Nizhny Novgorod company has a wealth of experience. They used to supply foreign automakers, until those companies decided to leave the market. They left? So be it. Now domestic companies are buying. For example, windshield heating elements go to Avtovaz. These are soldered inside the glass to heat the warming elements. It's a unique, rather interesting product, featuring some very intriguing patented components. Their wiring harnesses are purchased by manufacturers of diesel locomotives and agricultural machinery. We produce thousands of different items for dozens of companies. For companies like, say, Rostelmash, we manufacture about 400 different SKUs on a continuous basis for the various types of farming and machinery. And the volumes? Our volumes have been growing over the last few years. We are seeing annual growth of about 10 to 15%. There are also shipments abroad. We also have active clients in the Republic of Belarus and in Kazakhstan. Belarus, that's probably combined harvesters too? Yes, harvesters. And in Kazakhstan, there are several manufacturers. We supplied wiring harnesses to for ERA GLONASS. The manufacturer admits that export volumes have dipped. To rectify the situation, the Russian Export Center is ready to help. There are numerous support measures in place that continue to evolve, from training and participation in business missions and trade shows, to assistance with entering foreign marketplaces and transportation compensation. This year, over 4,500 companies received support, and export volume exceeded 1.5 trillion rubles. Veronika Nikishina, CEO of the Russian Export Center, briefed Vladimir Putin on the evolution of support mechanisms for exporters and their impact on Russia's economy. Non-commodity exports create high-productivity, high-paying jobs. Moreover, a single job in the production of non-resource goods generates 2 additional jobs in related industries through intersectoral cooperation. This includes component suppliers, the transport sector, process engineers, design engineers, and so on. Currently, 6 million jobs in Russia are generated by non-commodity exports. Returning to Nizhny Novgorod, let's discuss the additional support the company would like to receive. Harness manufacturing involves a great deal of manual labor. Yet not a single educational institution produces specialists with these skills. So, in principle, we have to train them ourselves. We have our own classroom for this purpose. The plant would like to see state support for investments not just in equipment, but in personnel. We want preferential loans to be directed not only toward purchasing or leasing machinery, but also toward working capital. Because when volumes grow and labor productivity rises, it requires an increase in variable costs. And that is precisely where we don't always have the funds available. That is to say, first and foremost, we need to rethink the actual targeted support for enterprises like ours, which rely heavily on manual labor. And it does not mean that the plant does not try to automate production. It is trying. They received a grant from the Skolkovo Foundation to develop a planning system. We have a lot of automated quality control systems, where artificial intelligence is involved, where electrical circuits and geometry are checked with the help of artificial intelligence. So, at the plant, they say there is still growth potential, about twofold, using their own resources and with state support. Of course, current interest rates in the economy are an extremely constraining factor. I mean, they are holding back any demand, not even just investment demand. Investment demand goes without saying, so I now have to find additional arguments to convince people to keep moving forward regardless. We will react flexibly. We are used to it by now. Life has trained us through COVID and sanctions, so that we make decisions within days of a new factor emerging. We monitor the situation constantly. I think that in any case, as I've said, I am an optimist. I count on the economy, at least in the Nizhny Novgorod region, to demonstrate positive dynamics this year as well. And now let's head to Tatarstan, home to a company that also believes in growing demand for its energy products. Warehouse machinery, floor cleaning equipment, various medical devices, electrical appliances. All of this requires batteries, and they manufacture them right here in Kazan. Now, we'll show you how it all works. The technical director shows us how automation is gradually coming to lithium battery production. Here, for example, is a welding station. Battery cells are loaded into holders in a specific order. The program is set up. And then, if you look at both sides, welding occurs simultaneously from both sides. So if a human were to do it, how much slower would it be? 4 times slower. Modernization will continue. It makes the assembly faster. The quality is higher. We are planning to introduce equipment that will completely eliminate human labor. That is, components will be loaded at the input. Further assembly will be carried out by robotization. The final product will be ready for final inspection and shipment to the warehouse. And now more about the products. The company already has more than 4,500 projects behind it. They started with lithium polymer cells. This is the lithium polymer cell itself. It looks like this in the form of a package. It is used from radio electronics and telephone sets to unmanned aerial vehicles. It's a very large scope. It was on such packages that our first assemblies were made. From then on, their experience enabled them to manufacture products for any client request. This specific battery pack was designed according to the client's technical specifications for geodetic equipment. And here is a battery for floor cleaning equipment. There's one for video surveillance systems. Is there any representation here for drones? We also have one of our exhibits designed for drones. This unit also utilizes our own electronics, developed by our electronic engineers. Here is the display board, and here is a mounting board designed for a more reliable connection between the cells. The cells themselves are made in China to Russian order. For the time being. After all, the company is opening a new plant, and there is already a full-cycle production there. The completion of this project will allow us to manufacture battery cells with an energy density of up to 340 watt-hours per kilogram. The new production facility also opens up opportunities for expanding product range, to enter the warehouse equipment market, and others beyond that. Looking ahead, it would likely be interesting for us to break into the electric vehicle sector as well. For now, we're still dreaming about it, but it is definitely one of our goals. Expansion into exports is also planned. Discussions are already in progress. The main directions are the CIS countries, the Middle East, and certain regions of Central Asia. For beginning exporters, and not just beginners, there is a useful resource, the My Export digital platform, launched as part of the national project. It exists to ensure suppliers are aware of what support measures are available, how to undergo training, and how to obtain the Made in Russia certificate. Here, I would like to draw special attention to one of the very effective tools for increasing the recognition of our products abroad, because one of the main problems in new markets is a lack of awareness about our capabilities. This is the Made in Russia program. We thank you for supporting this initiative. We are building recognition for our products. We mark them with this little bird logo, labeling the products themselves, as well as electronic virtual shelves and exhibition pavilions, all under the umbrella brand Made in Russia. And this bird is already flying across many markets in friendly nations. The Made in Russia certificate is voluntary, but the effect is very simple. Potential buyers perceive the tricolor bird as a mark of quality. This is a great help for exporters, including those who are still just starting out, like the hero of our next story from the Tyumen region. In modern life, you can't get anywhere without a device like this. For instance, a factory, a pumping station, or a boiler house would just stop running. And what is this device, which is produced in the Tyumen region? We will tell you now. Believe me, it is far from being just a box with wires. An LVA, or low-voltage assembly, is one of the company's product types. Inside the cabinet are the controls, settings, and protection systems for the power grid. This specific unit right here is being manufactured for one of our clients. It is used to supply power to the facility. These are so-called high-voltage LVA pumping stations. Big or small, they are used in all facilities. Any object of industry, schools, kindergartens, sports halls. Without such devices, you can forget about the automation of production, robots and conveyors. And since everything is done to individual order, there is almost no talk of mass production. Over the last 20 years, all our products have been unique. As for the internal components, there are still some foreign elements from friendly countries, but the percentage of Russian content is growing. Right now, we can say that this unit contains up to 90% domestic equipment. Every controller, every bus bar, the bolts, plastic, casing, and screws. It's all Russian-made now. They have other in-house products as well. For example, here is a pressure sensor. These used to be foreign-made. So, it turned out no worse than the foreign ones? Or maybe even better? I would actually say better. That is precisely why we now easily offer warranty obligations of up to 5 years. And for some products, it's even longer. They also make controllers. The control element, that is the heart, the organism itself. It receives signals from actuators, processes them, and issues control commands. Central nervous system. Yes, they assemble circuit boards for third-party manufacturers in cooperation. To satisfy their staffing hunger, they collaborate with educational institutions and train specialists themselves. Thanks to participation in the national project, labor productivity has nearly doubled. The Russian market is currently expanding actively, and even looking at our own products and sales figures, we see that volumes are increasing not just by units, but many times over. That is to say, we expect that starting from 2025, we will be producing up to several thousand units per year. And the company plans to enter foreign markets. We are currently developing relationships. Interest has been shown from Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. This product can certainly be used in other CIS countries as well. Overall, the Tyumen region's export volume for the first 9 months of last year grew by 1.5 times, with support, of course. Partner search, assistance in concluding contracts, and finally, support during the implementation stage. Last year, nearly 600 enterprises received such consultations, and support through the Tyumen Region Export Support Center. Together with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of the Tyumen region, over 30 international events were organized last year. This included business missions with trips to countries where our foreign economic relations are developing very actively. Participating in the Made in Russia festivals and fairs has become a great opportunity for exporters to make a name for themselves abroad. Since last year, the Russian Export Center has already held several of these, in China and the United Arab Emirates. For example, in Harbin, China, the festival is taking place for the second time. Foreign clients are also being introduced to our goods through other formats in India, and Indonesia is on the list of those wishing to host one. Once again, at Inoprom in Tashkent, you can see what is made in Russia, and of course sign cooperation agreements. So despite the efforts of unfriendly countries, partnerships with friendly nations are developing. 2022, sanctions. This marked the beginning of the second stage in the evolution of the export support system. The main task of this phase was to reconfigure broken trade ties and reorient toward the markets of friendly countries. Starting in 2025, we enter the third phase. We want to express our gratitude once more. Alongside other national projects confirmed for the upcoming strategic cycle, our renewed national project has been approved as well. The program for supporting and promoting Russian products abroad until 2030 has been approved by the government. Under the updated International Cooperation and Export National Project, for example, shipments of agro-industrial products must increase in volume by 1.5 times. In general, exports will grow by 2/3. The implementation of the Technological Leadership National Projects is aimed not only at our citizens and enterprises, but also at creating a competitive, export-oriented product of the highest quality. And that, essentially, is what technological leadership is all about, enabling us to enter new markets and not just compete, but capture them for many, many years to come. It is all very interconnected. Just look at these success stories. Take the Tyumen company as an example. For 23 years, it supplied foreign equipment. Now it is starting to export. It built a factory in an industrial park where utilities were connected at the state's expense. Right now, we have certain tax preferences regarding property taxes. We also utilize major leasing programs, industrial cashback, and subsidies. And they plan to develop 3 more sites. They aim to increase their staff and product range by the same factor. The battery manufacturers from Tatarstan are also launching a new plant. The area is 5,000 square meters. In addition to this space, we have plus 5 more. This will allow us to scale up our operations in unmanned systems. Things will also get more spacious for the specialized machinery designers in Chelyabinsk. This year, we are launching an entire engineering building, a 2-story administrative center for our design engineers. And so every year, we try to open some new facilities. So there are some examples, just in case anyone thought that nothing new opens in Russia amid sanctions. Rather, the opposite is true. It is a time of opportunity, especially for those working in the energy sector.